Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks have finally made their way back into the future, only to be met with the painful defeat by the hands of both Zamasu and Goku Black, as Goku is put down for the count and Vegeta backed up against Zamasu. Desperation has reached its peak as Trunks finally unleashed a new and mysterious power, in which will be used to rival that of Goku Black and Zamasu, as he buys time for Goku and Vegeta to escape back into the past, as Goku is set to learn a new move that could potentially be the one move that can seal away Zamasu. What's going on, Dragon Ball Super fans? Welcome to my official Dragon Ball Super episode 62 review, entitled Trunks' Angry Superpower Explosion, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 63. And what an episode this was, guys. I want you guys to please bear in mind that this video will contain massive amounts of spoilers, so if you guys don't want anything ruined for you, simply fast forward the video, go watch the episode, come back so we can talk more Dragon Ball Super down in the comments. Don't cry in the comments about being spoiled by the thumbnail or any of that, because nothing is being said or shown that you guys don't already know. Also, be sure to check out the description down below for lots of goodies, updates, and contact information to where we can interact on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That way we can talk more Dragon Ball Super. And again, quick plugs before we begin. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for all latest in Dragon Ball news, updates, what if battles, Xenoverse 2, and much more. Daily uploads and daily content for you all to watch and enjoy. So I thank you so much for supporting the channel greatly, as I always do. Be sure to spread the word about Unreal ENT Gaming. The translations were provided by Herms98 on Twitter, just in case you guys are wondering how I was able to pick up on the dialogue prior to the subs coming out. And with that being said, on to the episode now. We pretty much kicked the episode off right where we left off last week, with Trunks unleashing this new power, and we see how Black and Zamasu are a bit stumped as to what this is and what Trunks had done, but we see Goku and Vegeta, obviously enough, Goku's down on the ground. We see they're also a little surprised as to what Trunks had did here, but we start the episode off with much tension on both sides between Zamasu and Black and Trunks, and we see right from the start how Black finds the idea of Trunks defeating him very hilarious, and Zamasu calls Trunks a sinner yet again as he takes exception to his new form, and we see how Trunks literally charges right in there to fight off Black, and he's holding his own relatively well. We see how he is able to sustain a few of Black's hits, and we see how Zamasu is overlooking Vegeta just to make sure he doesn't step in, but at the same time, we see how Black is kind of struggling with Trunks just a little bit until Zamasu steps in, and they both seem to kick Trunks right in the gut, and seemingly enough, Trunks' new form does hold him off relatively well, but as I said in last week's episode, I didn't really think that Trunks was able to literally, just get the job done here, despite what level of transformation he was, and we get to see how Trunks was combating both of them at the exact same time, even using the Masenko and pushing back Black and Zamasu's, combined attacks by himself. So we see how, Black is impressed that Trunks has this much power, but he's not too impressed, and he says, "Oh, I thought you said you were going to protect the world. I thought you said you were going to defeat me. What happened?" So Black is mocking him legit, and we see how Vegeta is standing there trying to, just take refuge and also trying to help out his son, but he doesn't really know what to do. But we see how Trunks gets the upper hand just for a second as he kicks Zamasu in the face. He knocks Black down, and we see as Zamasu is getting back up, we see Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta just overlooking both, just Black and him, and he's saying to himself, like, this is what you get for trying to, destroy time, but little to no effect, because we see after that, as Trunks is holding back Black and Zamasu, we see how Vegeta literally grabs Goku. He throws, the senzu beans to Mai, and, he puts Goku in the time machine, and they take off. But even with that being said, Trunks is holding back Black and Zamasu the best way he can, despite not being a Super Saiyan Blue. He still manages to relatively hold him off just briefly, and we see how Black also notices that, Vegeta and Goku and Bulma are trying to escape, and he tries to prevent that by trying to destroy the time machine, and we see how Trunks pretty much blocks that off. So Trunks actually proves yet again that he's actually able to sustain and take Zamasu and Black's damage, even though, he's not really unleashing much damage of his own. He's still pretty durable enough to say that he can actually, defend the timeline by himself, while Goku goes back to learn of a new way to stop Black and Zamasu. So we see Zamasu pretty much, tell Black they're gone, and Black says, whatever, we'll be seeing them again really soon. So they know for a fact that Goku and Vegeta will be back once again, and Vegeta tells Trunks, don't die. And we see how, like, there's a moment of tension, because as they escape, we see how, just Trunks is holding his own, and he looks back on the time machine, and he's like, all right, well, I got this now. But as we go back into the past, we see how little Trunks pretty much goes up to the time machine, and he notices that Goku is down, Bulma is pretty much cramped in there, Vegeta's down, and we see how Beerus and Whis, presumably enough, they're eating more of, ice cream sundaes or pudding, whatever the case may be. They're eating, and we see how Beerus welcomes everyone back into the past again, and we see how Bulma jumps out first, and she begins to flip out on Beerus, telling him that nothing actually changed. And Beerus says, well, I did think Trunks' explanation did make sense, so I really wasn't sure myself. So Beerus himself was a little puzzled by this, because Bulma pretty much walked up to Beerus and she was like, nothing you said made any sense. Everything you said was pretty much false. I mean, he still exists in the future. And you know, Vegeta's like, yeah, Trunks almost died. We all almost died. We also get to see Goku be put in somewhat of a rejuvenation chamber just to heal his wounds and whatnot. And we see how, you know, Trunks' multiple timeline explanation, in other words, Beerus is, you know, distracting himself from previous statements, it just proves out to be true. And Vegeta explains, you know, the score to everyone about, you know, what's going on with Black, and including how the other gods and the other timelines are dead. And Beerus, after he overheard the other gods being killed off, he seems to get very, very angry, and he begins to get very, very, you know, just curious as to what's going on. But we also get to pan out and see a little bit of Goten, something that we've all been talking about here. We see how Trunks pretty much, you know, is knocking on the window, and we see Goten is sleeping. And mind you, we haven't seen anything of Goten, like, at all. We see Gohan, his bitch ass is there, and he's carrying some shit. You know, nobody really cares about Gohan anymore, sadly enough. I mean, if anything, Gohan should have been included in the story. It would have made that much more sense. But we see Chi-Chi's talking to Krillin. We also see Gohan in the background, but we also get to see, you know, pretty much, Beerus considers the case being closed, that this timeline Zamasu is dead, so he leaves. So even with, you know, the future stuff happening, he doesn't really care. He says that the case is closed as of right now. Zamasu is dead. There shouldn't be any hassle as to what's going on right now, so he leaves. And that pretty much rubs everyone the wrong way, because Zamasu and Black exist in the future, and they're messing up the entire timeline. And Beerus is just like, well, so as long as nothing's happening here, the case is closed, and he leaves. So presumably enough, you know, we see Chi-Chi doesn't know where Goku is, and she asks Krillin, and she pretty much pressures him into pretty much telling her where he is. And she notices, after she's done talking to Krillin, that, you know, Goten and Trunks are in the air and they're flying away. So she begins to get very angry, because she doesn't want her son, you know, being involved in this mess. So ultimately enough, Trunks and Goten, they end up going to Bulma, and we see Bulma is pretty much talking to both of them while Little Mai is in the time machine. We also get to see Gohan carrying Chi-Chi there, which seems to be really interesting to me. And Vegeta thinks that there must be a way to defeat Black and Zamasu. Meanwhile, you know, Bulma is telling Goten and Trunks there's no way they can help, because Trunks wants to help, and he keeps insisting to help his future self, but Bulma keeps saying no. And Vegeta is overlooking this, and he's overhearing that Bulma is saying it's an opponent even Goku couldn't handle, so there's no way that you could. And that kind of rubs Vegeta the wrong way, because after Bulma said it's an opponent that not even Goku can handle, you know, he pretty much feels the type of way, because that's his wife pretty much saying that someone else is stronger than her husband, in essence. And so Goten and Trunks want to be involved in this, but she keeps insisting that they stay out of the situation. So, but we also get to see how Chi-Chi arrives, and she's with Gohan, and we see how Pilaf and the gang, you know, begin to surround them. And Chi-Chi is still looking for Goku, and now Goten as well. So she saw them fly off, and she's asking Bulma, you know, if she knows of anything of them being here, and she's like, no, not here. But then after that, they try to crawl away, and they bump into Vegeta, and Trunks is like, no, you know, Dad, and then, you know, they overhear this. So, you know, they pretty much get exposed by Vegeta, because, you know, they got startled by him and whatnot. So we see Vegeta carrying them both back. Piccolo and Krillin arrive, and that's when Bulma begins to explain what the heck is going on. And we see Goku recovering, and he came out of the Capsule Corporation, and he seems to be holding his wound. And Chi-Chi is like, what happened to you? Like why is there a hole in your shirt? And, you know, she begins to explain, you know, what exactly happened, and Chi-Chi is confused to hear that Goku's getting beaten up, and she really has no clue what's been going on. Of course, with that being said, we go back into the house, where Bulma begins to explain to Chi-Chi and Gohan about the whole Black and Zamasu thing, and Gohan seems to be a little startled by this, because he's wondering, like, what's going on. But we see Chi-Chi also checking up on Goten as well, you know, because Goku, presumably enough, told her that, you know, Black had went and he killed both of them off. So Chi-Chi begins to panic, and she's checking up on Goten and stuff, which again, you can't really blame her for that. But this is the first time that Gohan and Chi-Chi are overhearing about Black and Zamasu. So the first time that Chi-Chi and Gohan are overhearing about their father and husband, you know, having to be an evil person, you know, that takes them, you know, off guard completely. So we see how Bulma further explains, you know, the connection between Black and Zamasu having to be that, you know, they came from the future, and having to be that, you know, Trunks is getting, you know, destroyed in the future. And we see Gohan's reaction here. Now again, I've completely kind of given up on the guy, but in essence, we get to see how his demeanor, he begins to get very angry here. So maybe this is somewhat of a window of opportunity for him to come back in essence, because we see how he thinks back to when Trunks was there in his house and he was overlooking Pan and stuff. And everyone is puzzled. I mean, Goku's like, what do we do? And Vegeta just doesn't seem to talk. And Bulma pretty much reassures Chi-Chi that, you know, Goten and herself had died in the future only, so not in this current, you know, timeline. And Goku says he'll pay for this, you know, taking my body and killing Chi-Chi and Goten. And Chi-Chi freaks out, obviously enough. And surprisingly enough, now Gohan wants to know why future Trunks stopped by earlier. You know, he never did find out, you know, like, obviously what Trunks is doing there. I mean, he was happy to see him, but Gohan often wondered, you know, what is he doing here? And Vegeta begins to explain about Black's strength and Zamasu's immortality and how they can be beaten. And we see how, you know, everyone is conversating as to, like, what the heck is going on. But we also get to see Piccolo talk, and Piccolo says there is actually a way, the Mafuba. And everyone seems to, like, just be baffled by this, because Piccolo begins to explain further as to what the Mafuba is and what it can do. And we have a flashback to Roshi and Evil Piccolo, which was kind of cool because, again, that was a huge throwback to the original. And we see how Roshi attempted to seal him off, but he ultimately failed. And we see how Pilaf and everyone began to panic because they clearly remember this. But Piccolo begins to explain further that the Mafuba technique is the thing that Roshi used to try to seal off, you know, Piccolo and Pilaf, and you know, they were all like, just like, holy shit, like Evil Piccolo, because they remember. And Piccolo says that move right there can actually, you know, prevent and seal someone away for a long period of time, which can give them hope in essence. And then after we see Goku pretty much go to Roshi's place, and he's pretty much asking Roshi about the Mafuba technique, and Roshi's like, well, that can kill you. So, but Piccolo offers to show Goku a demonstration of the Mafuba, but Goku takes off to see Roshi before that. So, but we see Goku attempt to use the Mafuba against the Turtle Hermit, which was really funny because we see how he's picking up the turtle and he's attempting to seal him away because, you know, he wants a demonstration, and Goku needs, you know, to put him away in a small little basket, but he completely misses here. He completely misses, and the turtle is launched, you know, way out in sea, but Goku grabs him, you know, just to reassure his safety and whatnot. I'm going to explain more of that in my breakdown review, in which case I want to know down below your thoughts, because they never really explained, you know, Trunks' new superpower either, which I found to be just really surprising, because as strong as he was, they never really touched up as to, like, what the heck was going on here. So, but what was really awesome was the ending when Beerus and Whis arrived and they spoke to Gowasu, in which case I'll touch up more of that in my breakdown review. But I want to know your thoughts, guys, because again, this episode, it definitely sets up for a monumental fight between everyone. And but you know, even prior to that, you know, Goku's practicing on the sea turtle, and one thing that kind of baffled me was the fact that the Mafuba is supposed to be something that kills you afterwards, and, you know, Goku just is still alive in essence, so it's like what happened there is quite unknown. But we get to see Gowasu talk to Beerus about, you know, the existence of Zamasu in the future alongside Black as well, and that's when the episode cuts off. But again, guys, I want to know your thoughts down below, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your overall thoughts on the episode? What are your overall thoughts going into next week's episode, and with the upcoming spoilers to come, what are your overall thoughts as to how they can actually defeat this duo, especially when they come together? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Once again, thank you all for watching. If you guys are fans, don't forget to subscribe for more awesome daily content. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to finger that like button. Let me know what you guys think down below. Tune in for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.